Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Farah and today is going to be another reading vlog. It is Memorial Day today and just the end of the day, the light's fading fast. Hopefully I can get this clip filmed before it gets too dark. But anyway, I'm here and I thought I would just film a little clip to tell you guys about what I've been reading or what I'm hoping to read for this vlog. So I have, let's see, realistically, I have about 4 books that I'm working on right now, but the 3 that I'm going to focus on for this vlog are going to be this book here called Let the Great World Spin by Colum McCann. And then I just started a digital book today on my Kindle called Open Throat by Hoke, I think it is. And then the 3rd book is an audiobook I just started yesterday called The Collected Regrets of Clover by Mikki. Forgot to look up the author's name, but I'll put a picture here, of course. So just to give a brief overview of each book before I really get into them, let's see, I guess I'll start with this one. So I started reading this a few weeks ago and then I put it on hold to finish a few other things. So I'm just about this way through right now. And this is, I would say, literary fiction. This is my first book by this author, Colum McCann. And the story itself takes place in New York City. And it follows a few different people's storylines, which probably merge together at the end. I'm not sure. But all I know is that the story I just read about these 2 brothers kind of concluded. And I'm going to be moving on to the next story coming up. So what I love about this book is I really like the writing. I think it's beautiful. Some may say maybe it's a bit flowery. It's not too flowery for me though. I just think that the prose flows so nicely and he has this ability of taking these sort of mundane things that you maybe don't pay attention to, but really making them beautiful. I'm not going to get into the plot too much because it's going to keep switching as we go through the different character stories, but the story does start out in the 70s. It takes place in the 70s, so it's historical fiction. And everybody's kind of looking up in the sky and they see this guy very high up and they don't know if he's a jumper, they don't know if he's a window washer, but it's a sight that everybody's staring at. And then we see that he's actually a tightrope walker. And this was back when the World Trade Center was still as it was and he's trying to walk across them. I believe those are the 2 buildings, but that's how the story starts. And then we go back in time and the story starts off in Ireland with these 2 brothers. It kind of tells their story of growing up and one of them moving to the Bronx and then the other one following. So that's the one I just read. Beautiful, poignant, sad, heartfelt, but beautifully written. I don't know, I'm just enjoying it. Yeah, so we'll see what happens with the next story that comes next. So it's divided into a few different books and there's a few different stories in each book. So that's that. Next, the ebook I'm reading is called Open Throat by Hoke. And this one I discovered from Bandy's channel, or I always call her Bandy, Kaitlin Bandy's channel from Bandy's Books. And she had mentioned this as a book that she had really enjoyed in her recent wrap-up video that she did. I'll link it below. So the premise sounded interesting and she said it was pretty short, so I decided I would give it a try. So the thing, I don't know too much about this yet, I just started it, but the thing that interested me was that the story is told from the perspective of a mountain lion. And the mountain lion lives in Southern California, in Los Angeles, specifically in the hills below the Hollywood sign. And the mountain lion spends its days just kind of observing the hikers that walk along. It's listening to the conversations that these people are having. It speaks English, but the way it's written is that it's like one long sentence, but it's broken into different lines, I guess you could say. It's kind of like a stream of consciousness, but the words that the lion will use for certain things are just cleverly written, because obviously the lion doesn't write or know how to spell. So that right off the bat is interesting. And what I'm noticing so far is that it's really focused on being hungry. The lion's really hungry about something, hungry for food, probably a metaphor for something else. And the lion does seem to have a little bit of an attachment to the homeless people that live in its area. And it kind of looks out for them, it protects them. One night, one of them had brought a dog to their camp and the mountain lion protected the dog from getting attacked by a coyote. So, right away, it's a very lovable character, very likable. And yeah, I do, when I read the premise, it does seem to have some themes about gender and identity, loneliness, what it means to be human, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's good so far. I like it. I like it a lot. So yeah, hopefully that'll be a quick read for me. And then the third book, I'm already been talking for almost 9 minutes. Oh my gosh. So the third book is called The Collective Regrets of Clover. And this one, just real quickly, also takes place in New York City. And it's about a 36-year-old woman she's an introvert, and she grows up and she decides to be a death doula. So I'm sure most of you have heard of a birthing doula, or doula as it's normally called here, which is somebody who's very knowledgeable about childbirth, and they act as an extra support to a pregnant woman who wants to have a natural birth. So it doesn't take the place of a midwife who actually does the medical care and delivery, but she's just he or she is just kind of there to provide emotional support and to educate and to just help them along the path. So the death doula, what she does, which I think this is amazing, is that it's a job, so she gets hired to be with people at the end of their life who don't have anyone else, so they don't have to die alone. So the premise right off the bat is really interesting to me. And so it seems to be kind of a dual timeline. We're talking about her present time as a death doula, and then it's flashing back to her childhood and her losing her own parents at a very young age, her dealing with the death of people at a very young age, and her being very fascinated about it. So I'm listening to this as audio. The audio narrator, I can't remember her name, but I think it's important to say it because she's really good, but her name is Jennifer something. And she's excellent. Her voice is so calming and soothing, and I just feel like she has the perfect voice for this type of story. So I'm really enjoying the experience of listening to this as audio, which can be tricky because I've been hit or miss with audio a bit lately. So those are the 3 books that I'm working on now. We've had such a cold spell here where I live. Today was the first semi-nice day where it felt warm again, so I'm just looking for better weather. I've been trying to work on my little flower beds a little bit and getting them cleared out, and wanting to plant some flowers soon. I haven't bought anything. I haven't gotten any plants or flowers at all this year. You can see Mary. Oh, I know she wants to get in here, but yeah, there she is. But anyway, I hope you guys are all doing well. I'll check in after I've read a bit more of those books. I'm going to try to keep this vlog as natural as possible, so I may switch around. June is coming up, and I have decided to participate in some of those reading events, and I really wanted to try to read Around the World in 80 Days for Spring into Adventure, and I only have like a few days left in May when the event is taking place, so I might try to squeeze that in as well. But yeah, so I will check in soon with an update, hopefully. All right, everyone. I just finished Open Throat, and it's one of those books that ends and you're kind of shocked that that's the ending, because the Kindle version said I had 9 minutes to go, but that was not the case. I sometimes forget that the extra time at the end of the book is the acknowledgements and stuff. I'm sorry for all the noise, but I just wanted to come on here. Got lots of distractions going around. There's flute playing there, a tractor right there, and it's just, the book itself was good. The second half flew by. The first half was very slow, but overall I did enjoy it. It was thought-provoking, short little novella, very interesting, very creative. I really enjoyed it, but the ending, one of those ambiguous endings that I need to sit with it for a bit. So yeah, I just finished it. Just wanted to share my thoughts. So I don't know if any of you have these black locust trees in your area. They're very invasive, but they are here, and they've been on this property for like, 50 years and stuff. So they're not going anywhere. But I just have to mention, I forget that they're such late bloomers or flowers. When they do finally bloom like this, they smell so good. Oh my goodness, it's like the air has this beautiful perfume to it. It only lasts a few days, but it's just like you walk outside and it's so fragrant and beautiful. I love it. Yeah, just wanted to share. Black locust, invasive, just like our friends the starlings, but still puts on a beautiful show and gives us a nice spring fragrance. Hey guys, I have a little time to kill while I'm waiting for my daughters to pick them up from school. So I wanted to give you just a tiny bit of an update. I just came from a doctor's appointment, so I had my blood drawn. That's what that is. But yeah, the reading's been going pretty well. I'm not sure how much time is going to pass within this vlog. It might be quite a few weeks because I am finding a little bit of not as much time to read. And I'm also participating in June on the Range, so I'm doing a separate vlog of that, so it's not going to be as many books. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. But I have finished Open Throat by Henry Hoke, and that book was really, really good. It was very short. I don't even really know what to say about it. It was such a different and unique type of story, and it's kind of hard to describe. But it was a short book written in the first person point of view, and the point of view is told from an anthropomorphized mountain lion. So the mountain lion is very human-y. The mountain lion has sort of learned speech. It's learned the human language through its observations of people. And he lives in the foothills of Hollywood. So he lives like right near that famous Hollywood sign. And he just lives in that area. He sees hikers all the time going back and forth. He overhears conversations. He sees sexual acts going on. He sees, and he's also very closely bonded to, only the mountain lion is bonded to the people, not the people to the mountain lion. But he feels almost a protective nature over this group of people that are unhoused or unsheltered. They kind of live in tents within this area. So he kind of protects over them, he likes to eavesdrop on them and things like that. So it's a book that kind of talks a little bit about identity, a little bit about sexual identity, I guess. It talks about environmentalism. It talks about the ways that humans aren't taking care of the environment. There's a section that talks about wildfires, so it touches upon that. It talks about loneliness. That's a big part of it, I would say. But the story was just so different and unique. I don't even really know if I want to say much about it. The beginning was a little bit slower for me, but the second half flew by. It was so weird, but I liked it. It was so weird, but I really liked it. Yeah, so that's all I'm going to say. I know I already put in a clip of my reaction when I finished it, and I really enjoyed it. It made me want to pick it up and read it right away, so I think that definitely says that the book has impacted me when I'm just like, whew, that was good. Yeah, it's not a book for everybody. I will say that. Not all of you would enjoy that, I don't think, but I don't know. Read the synopsis, and I think you might enjoy it. So that was that. And then I also, I finished something else. What the heck was it? Gosh. Well, oh my God, I'm drawing a complete blank. Hold on a sec. Okay, I got it now. It was The Collected Regrets of Clover, and I don't know if I really vlogged about this at all, but this was another audiobook that I did just before I started the one I'm listening to now. And this was good too. As soon as I was done reading it, it was another one of those books that I was like, oh, that was good. That was good. I slapped a 5-star right on it. I've had a little time to reflect since then, and I don't know if it was truly a 5-star, but I try to just be true to that really true feeling I felt at the end of the book, even if it changes a little bit after I'm done with it and I've sat with it for a bit more. But this, again, was another really unique story. I would classify this as more general fiction, literary fiction maybe, but it wasn't really, I don't think.
But this was a story about a mid-30s-year-old girl named Clover. She works as a death doula, so she gets hired to stay with people when they're on hospice at the end of their life and kind of be there for them emotionally. So it's different from hospice nursing, which is where the nurse will go in and do medical assessments and provide medications and communicate with the doctors and the other people within that medical team. So it's like that, but it's remove the medical part. It's completely emotional support. And it gives them a chance to kind of have somebody unbiased to talk to if they have any regrets in life or if they have anything that they want to get off their chest before they pass away. And so that's what she does. That's her passion. It takes place in New York City. And we start off right away knowing that she's orphaned from a very young age. So her parents die in a car accident when she's 6, and she goes to live with her grandfather in a apartment in Manhattan. So she grows up. She's always kind of been very introverted. She doesn't connect well with people, and maybe that has to do with losing her parents so early in life. And she's always been really fascinated with death. So she goes on to study. She gets her master's degree in, I forget the actual term, but it has to do with death and how different people in the world treat death and their rituals and their spirituality and things like that. So she travels all over the place. She does a semester in Japan. She does her master's in Scotland, I think. She does some part of her degree in Montreal. But it's really, the one thing I will say about this book is that it's really noted that she doesn't really have any friends and she's never had a relationship. And so that part kind of was hard for me to believe. For somebody that has traveled the world like that and has been so interested in caring for people and working as a death doula, that she never really had a really good friend, or she never had a romantic relationship. And it does say she's not ace, so she's very attracted to men. There's a scene in the beginning where she's on a subway and she has to stand very close to a man, and she can smell his cologne and she can feel the heat radiating off his body, and she really likes it. And her personality's really sweet, and she's described as fairly attractive. So I don't know, that was took me out of the story a little bit, because I'm like, girl, really? But I know that connection with people can be difficult. And so it's not so much a story about death. So it's not anything that's really sad or depressing, but it's a story about her learning a lot of things through the people that she cares for and then the regrets that they have. She keeps a notebook of every person that she goes through this process with until they pass away, and she keeps a notebook of their regrets, and then she goes out and she tries to do them. So one woman, for example, really regretted that she never ice skated in Rockefeller Center. So in the winter she goes out and ice skates, kind of as a tribute to that person. So she meets a couple of people throughout the course of the book. She meets this man named Sebastian, who she meets through a death cafe, which apparently is a place you can go to talk about death. It's kind of like Alcoholics Anonymous, but it's a place where you can go to just talk about your feelings about death. If you've had a death in the family, it's a grief counseling area. And so she meets this guy who immediately shows interest in her. She's like, so about him. But through him, he hires her to be a death doula for his grandmother who's passing away, because his family's having a very hard time talking about death and relating to death, and everybody's kind of, just not dealing with it. So he enlists her help. So she becomes very good friends with this woman named Claudia. And then another story develops from there about Claudia's regret. And then that leads to another adventure. So it's a really interesting and unique book. I have heard some critiques about it, though, saying that people couldn't connect to the main character well enough. They didn't have enough emotional investment in it. And I can definitely see that. I personally, though, really felt like I could connect with a lot of what she was saying, a lot of thoughts that she had. And I just felt like it really came together for me in the end. It was a tiny bit of a slog to get through in the beginning, but the second half was so much better. I felt emotional towards the end of the book, and especially just some of the things that she learned and how she developed as a person. So I really enjoyed it. I recommend it if you're interested in that kind of story. If you're interested, I also am somewhat fascinated about death as well. I was with my grandmother when she passed away, and it was a really beautiful experience. And so I think maybe that helped me enjoy the book a bit more. But yeah, So those are my 2 reading updates for this vlog. I'm working on June on the Range, so I'm not sure. I did start Around the World in 80 Days by Jules Verne, which is going well. That was supposed to be part of the Spring into Adventure reading event, but it's going to be summer in a few weeks, so hopefully I'll finish it. But yeah, so that's my update. I hope you guys are doing well, and I'll try to film another update soon. So I'm here at my library. We're having a townwide garage sale today, and the library's having a book sale, and I haven't done a book sale here at my own library. So I'm gonna go check it out, see if there's anything good. I need new books, like I need another hole in my head, but I still wanna see what they have. All right, guys, I'm back from the library sale, and it was pretty good. I mean, there wasn't a ton of stuff. It's a very, very, very small library, but they had DVDs for $1. Paperbacks for 50 cents and hardbacks for $1. Or you could just fill up one of their tote bags for $7, which is what I did. But I think it evened out to that anyway. Yeah, I guess Mary's joining in. So I'm going to show you real quickly what I got. These are some of the DVDs that I picked up. So I got this copy of Alfred Hitchcock's Rebecca, and I recently read this book. Well, I read it last year, and I really, really enjoyed it. So I've been meaning to get around to watching some of the adaptations. I know Netflix did a more recent one, but I do want to watch the Hitchcock one even more. So that was fun to find a copy of that there. Then I also found this. It's a British cinema collection of 8 acclaimed films, none of which I don't think I have seen. So here's a list of all of them on this DVD. Which, yeah, why not? Those are always cozy to watch. Then I also found this copy of Rob Roy with Liam Neeson and Jessica Lange. And I watched the Disney version of Rob Roy not that long ago, because I've been trying to go through and watch all the Disney movies in, the year that they were released. So I'm still in the mid to early 50s. But I think I've seen this, but it's been so long. But I don't know. I just felt compelled to pick this up just because I like the story. And then I can't pass by Rick Steves' Europe. I just love him. So this is it's just a random one. It's like 2009, but it has 12 different episodes. And here's a list of the countries that he talks about. Yeah, so really exciting. Glad to find that. And then as for the novels, mostly I got 2 historical fictions, a spy thriller, and a nonfiction. So this is the first one. This is called Small Island, Andrea Levy, and I have never heard of this one. I haven't heard of this author, but apparently she's done pretty well because she won some awards on this. And she's a British author from Jamaican background, and this story takes place in 1948 in England, just after the war. And I know it has to do with some Jamaican immigrants to England. So yeah, that sounded pretty good. It's big though, it's thick. So this will be one of those ones where, 100 pages in, if it's not working out, I won't force myself to get through it. Then I also found this one called The Magnolia Palace by Fiona Davis. This was a New York Times bestseller. Again, I've never heard of this or the author. But this one's another historical fiction. This one sounds a little less interesting, but maybe I would enjoy it.
But this one says, since losing her mother in the Spanish flu outbreak of 1919, 21-year-old Lillian Carter's life has completely fallen apart. Lillian used to be one of the most sought-after artists' models in New York City, with statues based on her, figures gracing landmarks from the Plaza Hotel to the Brooklyn Bridge. But now a grieving Lillian is rudderless and desperate. When she stumbles upon an employment opportunity at the Frick Mansion, Lillian jumps at the chance. But the longer she works as a private secretary to the imperious and demanding Helen Frick, the daughter of industrialist and art patron Henry Clay Frick, the more deeply her life gets intertwined with that of the family, pulling her into a tangled web of romantic trysts, stolen jewels, and family drama that runs so deep the stakes just may be life or death. Nearly 50 years later, mod English model Veronica Weber has her own chance to make her career and earn the money she needs to support her family within the walls of the former Frick residence, now a museum. But when she, along with a budding art curator named Joshua, chances upon a series of hidden messages, she finds herself on a hunt that could finally reveal the truth behind a decades-old murder in the infamous Frick family. So it's going to be a dual timeline. They come together in the end, I think. I mean, it kind of sounds good, right? Next, we have Dead Wake, The Crossing of the Lusitania by Eric Larson. And this is the account of the, when was it? 1915. Yeah, 1915. This looked really interesting. I love nautical nonfiction, and stories like that. It has really nice end pages, the map. And yeah, it just looked really good. So I grabbed it. It's such a great copy, great quality for just $1. Yes, love that. And then the last one, this one's actually part of a series, so I'm not sure when I'm going to get around to reading it, or if these can be read as standalones, but this is called Spy Master by Brad Thor. It's a thriller, and I love novels that have to do with espionage and spies. So I grabbed it. It was a no-brainer. I'm not sure which book this is. I did look it up before, but I didn't have a chance to remember. That didn't make sense. I don't remember which number it is in here. So, yeah, the series starts with the Lions of it's Lucerne, maybe. So it's like, I don't know, quite a while into this series, but I don't know. We'll see. I'll either read it or I'll donate it. And maybe I'll try to get out the first book, actually. But when I looked it up on Goodreads, every single book in this series had above 4 stars. So it might be a really good one to get into. So yeah, that's the haul. Let me know if any of you guys have read any of these and what you thought about them. That would be great. Thank you. Okay guys, I have one more update for you before the end of the vlog, and I just wanted to let you know I also ended up reading and finishing, but I didn't vlog about it at all, Around the World in 80 Days by Jules Verne. This is a classic written by a French author. Our main character is British, and I really enjoyed this. And I think if you don't know the basic plot, really briefly, is just that we have this British guy named Phineas Fogg who ends up making a bet with his friends that he can travel around the whole world within 80 days based on the new technology that's come about from railroad travel, steam engine travel, and that kind of thing. So he makes a bet that he could do this, and along the journey he brings his newly appointed French butler. I'm probably not saying his title correctly, named Passepartout with him, and they meet people along the way and shenanigans happen and they go on adventures, and there's a tiny little romance maybe that buds, and I really, really enjoyed it. And if you have never read this before, I really recommend it. It was great. I really liked the writing quite a bit. I thought that the translation was excellent. I would never have known it wasn't written in English originally. It was that well done. And it really, I felt, embodied a British vibe when I was reading it. I kept forgetting that Jules Verne is not British. So the sayings he would say, the expressions they would use. And I have to say, I'm not going to spend too much time going on about the plot, but the character of Passepartout was my favorite. He was the hidden gem. He was so good. I just really enjoyed his character quite a bit, and how Jules Verne wrote him and the scenes he was in. And it was just great. It was such a great book. I'm really glad I finally read it. It had been on my list for a long time to read, so I did squeeze that in within the other 2 books that I finished for this vlog. So I hope you guys are doing well and enjoying your summer. It's been great. It's flying by like crazy, but I do have, you know, I feel like I've gotten through quite a bit more few more books. I'm actually filming this a lot after I filmed the last clip, so I've read a bunch of books in between, but I'm going to start a new vlog going forward. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I appreciate every single one of you, and I'm going to show you the beautiful sunset I'm looking at right now, and I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I will see you soon. Take care.